Well, hey there. We're live, everybody. Just want to let everybody know that I decided to do this just impromptu stream because why not? And content's been pretty light, and I'm sorry about that. I think if you already saw from the description, everything is like kind of like kind of a little hectic with me right now. And I know I'm also kind of slightly trying to recover from the mass stream that I've been doing with playing the Mass Effect series. I better also do another thing though, so I can just see the comments on my stream, because I can stay up to date with you guys and do what I do, but and try to focus on writing as well. Just gotta find a good place to rest my phone so I can. So there we go. And what you're seeing right here is if you've seen me on other streams before, I've mentioned stories that I'm writing. So this damn thing will stop moving up if this one thing won't stop moving right. Okay, yeah. This right here, this is this is the third book of a 3-part trilogy that I'm writing. Again, like I said though, that all three stories have the word lucid in them, and I think I've already shown off what they are in previous writing streams, so there you go. Also, one other thing I better add this to. Okay, yeah, it's okay. Thankfully now it's been saved, so oops. All right. Shut off the stream. All right, I shut off my phone with the stream on it. But overall, now I better put some little music on to set the mood here. There we go. Just looking back through from what I've already written so far. There's stuff writing. Never mind. She stood up. Type benches. few good ones, and they're just the facsimiles of the real thing. In the backyard, I was having so much fun twirling her around, happy without a care in the world. My 6th birthday, but that night was when things started to change. Melanie, some after dinner, honey, come inside. I'm starving, she asked, and replied as the toy with a silly voice. Her daughter laughed profusely. Her mother continued to keep an eye on dinner as it was nearly finished. Melanie noted. Tim, honestly, I honestly feel bad for the Geeks and Gamers team. They had to sit through that movie. I automatically wrote that off the minute they announced it. I'll take that with whoever you will. Sorry, I just got a few snacks right beside me. One of those like cranberry nut cheese mix things. Can't make this our laugh. Her mother continued to keep an eye on dinner. Melanie noticed on the counter behind her that there was a huge stack of brownies sitting out, almost drooling over the idea of how sweet they might taste. She tiptoes while her mother's back was turned to sneak one for herself. Baby bird. Those are for the big sale. Plus, you'll spoil your dinner. She caught her red-handed and took the brownie out of her hand and placed it back on the stack. Her daughter's face scrunched up into a fit. You look at me like that, young lady, I'll put you in timeout. No, Elizabeth stood her ground. Melanie stood up to her mother with her mad expression. Her mother stood with her arms crossed, not having it with her behavior. Okay, time out it is then, she sternly said and took her arm. Now you just sit right there and don't move until dinner's ready. The story itself is about a young woman who basically has psychic abilities, essentially. But it was all brought on to some sort of experiment that was done with nuclear fusion that went wrong, and it was all because of some sort of unknown radioactive isotope that was found in an asteroid. And it turns out the girl's father was actually working with a Russian energy company that actually was trying to get some accolades and possible funding from the government if the experiment went well, but it all went wrong, and it dumped a whole bunch of radiation over the immediate area out in the middle of the Arizona desert. Now the thing is, the girl's mother was exposed, who I'm already referring to right here. At this point in the story, what I'm writing right now, or I'm already reading through right now, is the point where her psychic abilities start manifesting. The first two stories, one is basically kind of follows a guy she fell in love with and still is in love with, but more or less my main character in that first story is kind of a catalyst that kind of gets the story going. And the second book is all about her just simply trying to pick up the pieces of her life because something happened with her powers years ago that accidentally got somebody she knew killed. And because of that, instead of someone having to put her in jail, they actually had to corroborate and cover up everything that happened and put her in some sort of stasis. The thing about her is that she's actually in a sort of dreamscape while she's in this suspended animation. And that's an interesting little thing about her that she can actually do. She can actually consciously generate dreams in her. She can consciously generate the dreams as if she's like daydreaming. She can actually live out her dreams for real. So again, the term lucid in the title. And the thing is, she can actually control. She can not only control her own dreams, but she can actually, using those same type of the standard type of psychic ability, she can actually manipulate other people's dreams as well. Which in the first book is what she does with her boyfriend. And this is how, while they're separated at their point when they're separated, this is how she's only able to actually able to communicate with him and interact with him. And again, those interactions are very intimate, to say the least. But this third part of the book, or this third chapter, is all about, essentially, it's one half her backstory and the backstory of everything that happened, or what leads to her abilities manifesting and whatnot, or what and other sort of events. There's an element of conspiracy to this story as well. And again, it's also one half a bit of a coming of age story where, you know, we see her as she grows up. And a good chunk of that story is when she's a teenager and when she actually meets her boyfriend and forges the friendship and eventually the romance between them, and a person who she was friends with that she ultimately ended up killing. And again, I wanted to make this story because throughout the first two parts, this character that my main character kills, she's only mentioned in photo. She's only seen in photos and mentioned in and only heard about in flashbacks. And basically, she has mentioned a whole lot in the previous two books. So this final part, you're actually going to see who this person was, what her mannerisms were like, and everything else. In fact, she's actually the reason when you actually, no, I don't want to really spoil that, but she's also, when you understand what this character is about and how my main characters interacted with her, it's actually going to make the story makes the story far more tragic about what happens. So there you go. Brownie. Dinner was quieter than usual. Yeah, and another thing to mention here, what I'm like sort of mumbling reading here, is actually the very moment when my main character's psychic powers start manifesting. And she's only a little girl when this starts happening. You're very quiet, honey. Is everything all right? Robert asked, concerned. I'm all right. Just thinking about starting some private sessions. Running a private practice and doing therapy sessions. Really? You just keep looking at her daughter like there's something wrong with her. I think Mommy tried to sneak a brownie, but said I couldn't have one. Melanie smiled. Well, your mother's right on that part. You shouldn't. On that part, you shouldn't have sweets before dinner, Pumpkin. Otherwise, it's off to the evil dentist if those teeth get bad. In fact, you're already starting to lose some. Melanie giggled at her father's joke, showing she already lost 2 of her baby teeth. Elizabeth did nothing but stay silent while her husband and daughter laughed and played silly word games. That night, Elizabeth watched her daughter fast asleep as her nightlight shined by her bed. Perplexed by the phenomena of the brownie moving on its own and toward her daughter when she wasn't allowed to have it. Sleep well, baby bird. I just hope there's nothing wrong with you, she wished, and slowly shut her door. As she returned to the bedroom she shared with her husband, Robert was reading over a file of documents as he laid up in bed. So what's that you're looking over? Just some reports on radiation levels in the exclusion zones around Chernobyl. They seem to be back at ambient levels. That's enough for human habitation. That new iodine argonite-based scrubbing agent really helped with water purification. Elizabeth wanted to look as if there was nothing on her mind, but Robert noticed that she was staring off at the ceiling. Liz, you were really quiet at dinner. What's bothering you? He pinched her chin and tilted her head toward him, showing he was concerned. I didn't want to say anything in front of Melanie, but I'm worried about her. I know we both want to forget what happened back in '95, but they said there were some possible complications with what exposure of delta radiation I got. You were cleared, Liz. I was worried about you when I was worried about you when I found out I was pregnant. Yes. And are you worried about our baby bird's gonna develop some form of cancer, just like all those people who were exposed in the facility? He continued to press, concerned. I don't know. When I put Melanie in timeout, but it's before dinner. Just before dinner. Let me see. For dinner. That brownie I didn't let her have, she threw a fit about it, and I saw it move on its own toward her. How? That's not possible. That's not physically possible. It just isn't. I know what I saw. I saw it move toward her. It's not really possible. Duh. I know it sounds insane, Robert, but I know what I saw. Something must seriously be wrong with our daughter. Liz, you've been on edge ever since the day she was born. I am too. But this is beyond insane. It's just not possible. He tried to reassure her. I'll take her to the park tomorrow, and and I'll see if I notice anything. All right, okay, all right, all right. Good night. I love you so much. I know, you and Melanie. He kissed her goodnight and fell asleep in each other's arms. I didn't notice anything that night, but it sure scared the hell out of Mom. I don't know why. I just wanted a sweet treat. And Dad saw it himself. And that was the day I encountered the bane of my existence and grew to despise her. But this is another completely different character. This is a bully character we're going to introduce. He actually encounters as a child, and then later, during her teenage years. There was one silver lining that day. I saw him again. So yeah, even in a previous scene that took place on Halloween, that was like the very start of the book when we start going into the backstory of the character, is that my two dual protagonists, my main character who's a girl and her boyfriend, they actually encounter each other when they're children, at least a couple times, and then they don't actually formally meet until they're in high school. Robert took his daughter to Jefferson Park to play in their coastal hometown of Port Hawking, Maryland. A town rooted deeply in the colonial beginnings of America. The site was a lesser-known skirmish during the Revolution between the British Navy and American partisans fighting for independence. It was where old vessels, both military and civilian cargo alike, were brought to port to be scrapped. The park, of course, was named after America's third president, Thomas Jefferson. It was far from the shore, but anyone could still smell the salt air and the sight of seagulls flying overhead. He sat looking humbly at the joy of his daughter smile. Smiling. His daughter smiling as she twirled around and played with her stuffed panda bear Ringo. A man who looked to be in okay shape sat down right on the right side of the bench near him. He had brownish green eyes and darkened blonde hair, and looked to be not that much older than himself. They certainly are quite a joy, aren't they? He turned to him with a smile. No doubt, Robert replied. So which child is yours? The man with the blonde hair asked. The little one playing with her stuffed panda. He pointed. She's got your hair color. Mother's eyes too. Robert curled a smile, and was amused by the man's observation of his daughter. He absolutely does, and she's just as beautiful as she is. And which one's yours? He humbly spoke, then asked. He's the one dogfighting those spider toy planes of his. Robert recognized the boy the man pointed out was the same one whose little act of kindness put a smile on his baby bird's face that Halloween night. Melanie saw the boy playing with his toy fighter planes. Seeing him trying to imitate the maneuvers actual military pilots do in combat. Her eyes widened, seeing flashes of memory, remembering that he was the same boy dressed as an astronaut, giving her one of his chocolate bars on Halloween, months earlier. She smiled, setting Rinko down, and walked over across the lawn of the park, picking up several yellow dandelions as she approached him. Hi. She grew with her hands behind her back. Hi there. He looked up at her with a smile. Here, these are for you. Showing him the dandelions bunched up into a bouquet. Thank you. Did you like the Hershey bar I gave you? He humbly took them and asked her. Yeah, that was really sweet of you. Don't get all mushy like my mom did. He joked, and they shared a giggle. Those are cool. What are they? This is an F5 Tiger. He handed her the fighter toy. Melanie looked in awe as she held it, feeling that one of the toys meant a lot to him, like he wanted to fly them. This one is the F-22 Raptor, my favorite one. My dad worked on them. The children smiled as the young boy talked about how impressive he thought his toy fighter planes were. Melanie's face grew to shock, believing someone was trying to take her panda Rinko. She turned to see and saw a young girl trying to take her toy. Hey, give that back! She turned and called out. All right. Sweet tarts. So yeah. Excuse me. Like I said, though, I know trying to write is a pretty slow process, and I know you have the story all down on paper, but writing it is always the harder part. So. Okay. I'm sorry about this. I think there's something else going on soon. I want to listen to it while I'm trying to write. But this was time, but I don't know. But okay, I think I'll just end the stream for now. Just wanted to show you guys a little bit further. I know for a good while I almost couldn't get started, but now I've got a good pace with how I've progressed writing the story so far. So I'm sorry once again to anyone. I know anyone who may have unsubscribed. I know people are subscribing and then unsubscribing. It's just, again, I really have not a lot of money to burn so I can up the production of this channel. I'm just doing what I can. I got other stuff on my mind, trying to, well, just survive in the world. But everyone, thank you all for watching, and hope to see you all next time. May God, the Force, and the power protect you always. Peace out.